rigid and vicious. Empress Lji of Liu Bang, Gaozu of the Western Han Dynasty. Lji, the wife of Liu Bang, was appointed Empress of Liu Bang after he became emperor. She was a stalwart, vicious and capable woman. With the help of Xiao He and Zhang Liao, she preserved her son's right to inherit the throne. She killed Han Xin, a highly accomplished minister. Crowley got rid of her love rival, Mrs. Qi, and made a significant branch to the sons and daughters of the L clan, trying to pass the kingdom to her own family. She was in power for 16 years, but the L clan was put to death as soon as she died, and all her efforts went down the drain. Marrying Liu Bang, bitterness and sweetness. Empress L, the wife of Liu Bang, the first Han emperor, was appointed empress after Liu Bang became the emperor. In history, Empress L was a very successful female politician, but to this day, when people think of her, the first thing that comes to mind is her brutality and power. However, Empress L in her early years was different. She was intelligent, gentle and kind, and she went through a lot of difficulties for Liu Bang, which could be described as a life of 9 deaths. When she married Liu Bang, he was only the chief of Sisha Pavilion in Pierre County, equivalent to the chief of a police station today. Il Pian's father, Lu Wen, was good friends with the magistrate of Pierre County then, and many people visited Liu Bang because of his relationship with the magistrate. Liu Bang, nicknamed Yu Ji, was the third of 4 brothers. He was the third of 4 brothers and was a bold man who didn't like to read much and didn't like to work in the fields, so he was often rebuked by his father as a scoundrel. However, Liu Bang thought he had great ambition and was not willing to be bothered by such trivial things in life, and he continued to do what he wanted to do. Once, when he saw Emperor Shi Huangdi's tour ceremony, he said, "This is how a man should live his life." When Liu Bang grew up, he took the examination and became the head of the pavilion in Sishu, which was his first step towards politics. As time passed, he got to know the county officials well and became famous in the area. When Lu Wen celebrated his birthday, Liu Bang went there to congratulate him on his birthday. At that time, the person who hosted the reception for the guests was Xiao He, the county chief of Pierre County. He announced a rule. Anyone who made less than $1,000 in congratulatory gifts would be seated in the lower part of the hall, and only those who made more than $1,000 in congratulatory gifts would be allowed to go to the inner room. Liu Bang didn't care about this, although he didn't bring any money with him. He said to Xiao He, "I'll pay $10,000 for the congratulatory gift." Then he graciously ascended to the chamber. After knowing the truth, Lu Wen was angry and wanted to drive Liu Bang away. But he was surprised when he saw Liu Bang because Lu Wen was good at the art of reading people. Liu Bang had the appearance of heaven and sun, the face of the dragon, and was very dignified. He could see that this man would be great in the future, and his future was unlimited, so he invited Liu Bang to take a seat in the upper table. This time, Liu Bang not only ate for free, but after he had had enough food and wine. Lu Gong kept him here, and despite his wife's objections, he wanted to marry his daughter to this unassuming minor official. Liu Bang, who had a bad reputation and could not find a wife, was eager to get married, so he married Lu. The loss of her birth mother at a young age, coupled with the cowardly nature of her stepmother, and the respect of her father, Lu Wen, because of his relationship with the magistrate, made her feel the importance of power at a young age. She began to seek the protection of power, which might be the initial reason for the authoritarianism of Elfei later in her life. Elji also developed an independent, arbitrary, and strong personality from childhood. She was high-minded and proud, was in charge of the tenantry and household affairs, and aspired to be a woman's husband. Although the county's magistrate had begged for her son's hand in marriage many times, because the magistrate's son was a man who did not follow the rules and did not have much success, Elji was reluctant to marry him and delayed her marriage. This time, she married Liu Bang on her father's order. Although she was more or less unwilling to do so, she was convinced that Liu Bang would achieve great success in the future because of Liu Bang's unique characteristics and her father's favor. In a few years, Elzi changed from a pampered young lady to a peasant woman who worked on the land for 4 seasons of the year, took care of the household, and gave birth to a son and a daughter for Liu Bang. The son was named Yu Ying, later Emperor Hui of Han. and the daughter was Princess Liu Lan. Liu Bang was often absent from his home for 3 days due to his official duties and socializing with his friends. At this time, Elshi was no different from an ordinary peasant woman responsible for weaving cloth, plowing fields, cooking and washing clothes, filial piety to her parents, and raising her children. In his early years, Liu Bang was a scoundrel and did not look like a man who could accomplish great things. During one of his escorting trips, Liu Bang was drunk and the prisoner escaped, and he had to die in a swampy area under Mangang Mountain. At this time, the virtuous El Pian supported the family on her own and traveled long distances from time to feed and clothe her husband, who was forced to go into exile without complaint. What sustained El Pian at this time was her belief in Liu Bang's future success. At the end of the Qin dynasty, the world was in turmoil. Liu Bang led his troops into Pi County and was installed as the Duke of Pi, and El Pheasant was honored with the title of Lady El. After Liu Bang entered Shanyang and had to surrender the land of Guanzhong and the title of King of Guanzhong due to his inferiority to Xiang Yu, Liu Bang was made King of Han by Xiang Yu, the King of Western Xichu, and El Pheasant was promoted to be the consort of the King of Han. However, she did not enjoy a comfortable life. During the next 4 years of the Xichu-Han War between Liu Bang and Xiang Yu, El Pheasant was kept hostage in the Xichu army, tortured and humiliated, and struggled on the brink of life and death. As a result, El Pheasant became suspicious and insecure, making her narrow-minded, vicious and ruthless, and the first to strike. After the Xichu and Han had made peace and the divide was drawn, Xiang Yu returned to Elji Liu Bang. At that time, the Eljuo returned to Liu Bang was no longer the familiar peasant woman Elji. The dictatorship of a shrew and the change of the name of the country and mountain. Later, Liu Bang broke the contract and restarted the conflict. Finally, he defeated Xiang Yu at the Battle of Geisha and established the Han Dynasty. In ancient society, where the husband was the wife and the mother was the son, a woman's mind was not on her husband but on her children. When Liu Bang won the world, El Xiao's mind was not on Liu Bang because she and Liu Bang did not have the power of love between life and death. So was her mind on her son. Han Gaozu Liu Bang was away at war for many years, and naturally, there was no lack of red-pink women in his accompanying tent, with several concubines such as Qi, Bog, Caog, and so on. Since a man is the son of heaven and wealthy, it seems natural for him to have a few more women to serve him, and Empress El also understands this. A woman who can't get everything from a man will naturally want to get something else to compensate, and for Empress El, power is what she wants most. Among the many concubines, Bog, Caog, and many other concubines only compete for favor with beauty, so life is not in danger. The biggest problem in Qiji was slender, elegant, and very favored when she met Liu Bang in Dingtao. Moreover, this Qiji was a challenging target, as she wanted her son, King Rui of Xiao, to succeed to the throne. Rui's speech and demeanor were very much like Liu Bang's, and Liu Bang loved him very much. Coupled with Qiji's advice from her pillow, and because Liu Ying, the son of Empress El, was too timid and not to Liu Bang's liking, Liu Bang had the possibility of abolishing Liu Ying's title as the crown prince and installing Liu Rui as the new crown prince. At this time, Qiji was not only the love rival of Empress El, but also her political rival. Since the establishment of the Han Dynasty, Liu Bang had been trying to recruit the four Hows of Shangshan to advise him on how to govern the country. However, the four Hao of Shangshan had heard that Liu Bang did not attach much importance to Confucian scholars and that they liked to curse people in their speech, so they never agreed to do so. To consolidate her son's position as the crown prince, Empress El sought advice from Zhang Liang. Zhang Liang sympathized with Empress El's situation. How easy was it for a woman to follow her husband and raise her two children during war and chaos? Now that her husband had become rich and powerful, a new woman wanted to take advantage of him and get something for nothing. Was that fair? Zhang Liang decided to do her a favor. After Zhang Liang's introduction, the four Hao of Shangshan, who had not even been invited by Liu Bang, were moved by the sincerity of Crown Prince Liu Ying and Empress Elle and agreed to come out and be the guests of the Crown Prince. Liu Ying was modest, gentle and polite, and was the best candidate for the four Hao of Shangshan to show their talents and ambitions. After these four elders' teaching and influence, Liu Ying's cultivation and insights have greatly improved. One day, a banquet was held in the palace, and four white-haired elders stood behind the Crown Prince Liu Ying. When Emperor Gaozu learned they were the four Hao of Shangshan, he knew the Crown Prince could not be abolished. When Gaozu realized they were the four Hao of Shangshan, he knew the Crown Prince could not be deposed. He knew that the four Hao of Shangshan, whom he could not even invite, had become the guests of the Crown Prince. So it seemed that the Crown Prince had already grown wings. When Liu Bang returned to the harem and told Qi, she immediately burst into tears, knowing that her hope of becoming the mother of the country had been dashed. In the history of Chinese politics, there were many times before ill-pheasant when a woman had run amok in politics, but most of them were based on her sex appeal, and they did not have the courage and effective means, so they did not become a big success in the end. Only ill-pheasant gained power through her political skill. This time, with the help of Zhang Liang, Empress Elle achieved an unexpected victory and consolidated her position as the Crown Prince. Next, Empress Elle wanted to build up her prestige. One of the most famous things that Empress Elle did was kill Han Xin as a ploy to build up her prestige on Han Xin's head and make the ministers fearful of her. Zhang Liang, one of the three great masters of the early Han Dynasty, who was able to strategize in a tent, win in 1,000 li, lived a semi-reclusive life after the establishment of the Han Dynasty. He had no political ambition or military power and did not pose any threat. Xiao He, who helped the people, planted crops and rice, and made the country prosperous and strong, was not the kind of person who fought for the world. Only Han Xin, who was good at leading many soldiers, good at attacking cities and capturing passes, and good at winning by surprise, obtained the position of the King of Qi by coercion when Liu Bang was in the most challenging time. Now he held a heavy military force and had a high reputation, which made him the most assured of Liu Bang's success. Han Xin built his career in Qi with its vast land and many soldiers. When Liu Bang asked Han Xin to come to his rescue at the height of the Sichuan War, Han Xin was very reluctant and asked Liu Bang to make him the King of Qi before he sent troops, which made Liu Bang's heart most unhappy. After the world was pacified, Liu Bang first changed the title of Han Xin from King of Qi to King of Sichu, and transferred him to Xiang Yi's hometown, which was full of hostility towards Han Xin. Soon after that, he was relegated from the King of Sichu to the Marquis of Huayin. And then he captured Han Xin by Chen Ping's trick and abolished him as a commoner. However, Liu Bang, the first Han Emperor, did not kill him because he had a promise to him. I will not kill him if I see the sky. I will not kill him if I see the earth. And I will not kill him if I see an iron weapon. Empress Elle favored Liu Bang's not to kill Han Xin with a cloth bucket, stabbed him with a bamboo stick, and killed him without seeing the sky, the ground, or using an iron. It did not make Liu Bang violate the no-kill covenant and lose his trust in the world, but it also eliminated Liu Bang's heart trouble. This move of Empress Elle did receive the effect of killing 1 to warn 100, and the ministers in the court swore that she even dared to kill such a great minister as Han Xin, so they were afraid of her. The killing of Han Xin caused anxiety among many generals. Some of them had to follow Zhang Liang's example and resigned from their posts, went into hiding in the mountains, or returned to their hometowns. Most of them cut down their military power to protect themselves, but of course, some made a life and death struggle and raised an army to revolt. When the news of the rebellion of the king of Huainan, Shubu, reached Chang'an, Han Gaozu was sick. He originally wanted to send the Crown Prince Liu Ying to lead the army to suppress the rebellion. Still, he was forced to go to the battlefield by Empress Elle with a handful of sniffles and tears in her eyes, saying Shubu is a fierce general in the whole world, and he is difficult to be dealt with. So the Crown Prince is going. There will not be like a sheep in the mouth of a tiger. The generals are mostly the uncles of the prince, so I am afraid they will not be able to bow down willingly and follow the orders. Liu Bang had no choice but to go on the expedition himself, although the rebellion was quickly put down. A stray bullet, unfortunately, shot him, and his wound festered, and he died 3 months later at 63. After the death of Gaozu, Empress L began to take over the real power of the Han Dynasty in the name of Empress Dowager, and then deposed the Liu kings one by one and incriminated the surviving ministers of Gaozu. She then deposed Liu's kings individually and incriminated Gaozu's surviving officials. She also employed her brothers and nephews and wanted to turn the Han Dynasty into the L family's world. Before his death, Liu Bang especially killed the white horse to a lion, telling the whole world that no king could be crowned unless he was a member of the Liu clan. So it seems that Liu Bang also had some precautions against Empress L. The Crown Prince Liu Ying Emperor Hui of the Han Dynasty was only 17 years old when he came to the throne. He was naturally kind and weak, and all the powers were manipulated by Empress L, who started her autocratic rule to do whatever she wanted. Empress L had long hated Qiji and King Rui of Shao, so she imprisoned Qiji and sent an envoy to summon Qiji's son, King Rui of Shao, from his fiefdom Handan to the capital. Even though Liu Ying, as the emperor, tried his best to protect his younger brother, Rui was poisoned to death by Empress L. For Qiji, who was a thorn in her side, Empress L chopped off her hands and feet, gouged out her eyes, and burned her ears, poured mute medicine into her, and threw her into the toilet, where she was made to wail, and was called a human swine. Swine is a pig, which was a horrible sight to behold. Empress L also asked her son Liu Ying to see. The little emperor learned that the human swine was Qiji. Shocked tears, he murmured. Too cruel, which is a human being to do so, the Empress Dowager. So I still know how to rule the world. He couldn't bear the shock. So he drank wine daily to drown his sorrows and ignored the government. On the one hand, Empress L dealt with the descendants of the Liu family by bloody means. On the other hand, she put her brothers in essential positions. And on the other hand, she tried to attract the relatives of the royal family with a smiling face, dreaming of usurping the world of the Liu family even further. To keep the world in her own hands, Empress L forced her granddaughter to marry her son, Liu Ying, as the queen, making her uncle and niece a strange couple. In 188 BC, Liu Ying, a corpse, died of depression after 7 years as a puppet emperor. Empress L set up 2 young emperors in succession. First, Liu Gong, the son of a harem beauty, succeeded to the throne as the young emperor, pretending to be the son of Liu Ying. 4 years later, because the child was so young, his words offended Queen Alice de Bu, and seeing that the secret was about to leak out, he was secretly killed in the harem. Empress L then appointed Liu Yi, the king of Hengshan, as the emperor and ruled the court herself. She rejected the old ministers, appointed her cronies, and appointed her mother's family, the LS, as kings, thus violating the agreement between Liu Bang and all the ministers, that no one would be king unless he was a Liu, and started to rule autocratically. Empress L refused to give up her power until she fell ill, but by that time, the descendants of the Liu family and a group of senior ministers could no longer allow her to act recklessly. And Liu Zhang, the Marquis of Zhushu, Zhou Biao, Chen Ping and others preempted the mutiny and staged a mutiny. It was an unexpected result for Empress L. Although her brother El Lu and nephew El Chuan held heavy armies, they could not withstand a single blow, and the army was defeated like a mountain, and in the end, Empress L died of shock. In 180 BC, Empress L died in Huayang Palace at 62. After her death, the kings of the L surname rebelled one after another, but Zhou Biao and Chen Ping eliminated them one by one, killing more than 3,000 members of the L clan, thus eliminating the scourge of the L clan.